I've got one more project to do before this car ships out to the mainland US. So it's time to raise the bar. The bar I'm referring to is the front sway bar. We talked quite a bit already about how it hangs down really low. It sometimes hits things in the road, especially dips, speed bumps, stuff like that. It's a custom front sway bar and it just hangs down really low. That's just the way it's made. But we talked about how if we got some adjustable end links, we would be able to lengthen the end length itself and thereby push the bar up and tuck it out of the way. I have since gotten those end links in, but before we begin, I want to kind of show you another project that I finished up in the meantime, and that is the trunk area. So as you know, we've done lots of work in the trunk with the speakers and whatnot. I still think this is pretty wild, although it is a pain in the butt to close, man. It really takes some serious effort. But guys, the trunk area is completely finished and I am super pumped, super jazzed about it. Just want to give you guys kind of another look at the final products. As you know, I made these custom subwoofer box enclosures for both sides. They follow the lines of the trunk and all that stuff, maximizing as much airspace as possible. Now, the two main differences between a coupe and a 2+2 in the trunk: one, you have this little hump area here which sticks out. That is where the ABS is. In a coupe, it's actually kind of up in this area, right about here, tucked out of the way. So that's one difference, is you have that sticking out. The other difference is the floor is actually on a subfloor. In the coupe, it has a space saver spare that actually goes down into a spare tire well, because the fuel tank is in the middle of the car, like in this area here. But in the 2+2, because there's a back seat here, the fuel tank is in this back side, so they can't put the spare tire well down too low, so the spare tire takes up area here, and so this is actually like a subfloor that's about between 4 and 6 inches off the ground. The spare tire is actually underneath this. There still is lots of room around the sides and everything for tools. Right about here in the underneath is where the crossovers are for the component speakers. Under here are actually 6-inch woofers, and then the tweeters are actually wired up into the hatch. Now, this was not easy, man. It was super tricky going up into the thing, and then you have to like weave your way through the little rubber boot thingy, whatchamacallit there, and then through the hatch, and pain in the butt, but man, it makes such a cool difference. I used the stock Bose boxes and sealed them completely to make them into nice ported subwoofer enclosures. So yeah, the amp sits right here, mounted to the back seat, is actually perfectly out of the way. Not only the strut tower brace, but also the tonneau cover. So that is completely tucked away and hidden. All the wires are hidden. So we have two 6-inch woofers, two 10-inch woofers, and then the tweeters in the top. Definitely kind of sketchy cutting the OEM carpet. I definitely felt really terrible about doing that, but in the end, guys, it's what needed to be done, and I think it ended up freaking awesome. So super stoked. Still tons of room for everything. I mean, all of this is installed in here. Absolutely no issues. Not only putting the T-tops in the back, but tons of groceries. So freaking win. Today, I want to get those end links installed, and I went ahead and ordered them. Thank you guys very much for the ones that sent me suggestions. I did find 3 different ones that were out there. I made a choice on one. I'm not happy with the choice I made. I might eventually go back and change it out, but for right now, I just need the functionality. I'm not out there tracking this car. I'm not out there worried about like hardcore suspension requirements. I'm not putting hardcore stress on my suspension right now. I just need to get this bar raised up. I ended up going with the AMS links. So I got fronts and rears. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding AMS. I got it, dude. I know there's controversy, but you know what? I figured for right now, this is gonna be just fine enough for me. I know that it's a knockoff part. I understand that, but it's gonna do the trick. However, guys, it's not without disappointment that I did receive these things. The way that they adjust is just, it's frustrating. It's not really the way it should adjust, and we'll get more into that when I start to install them. I know SPL parts and I know Power Tricks both make end links that are adjustable. Guys, these were 35 bucks. SPL parts were 200. It's just not something I could do right now. I just need to get the car functional. With that said, we're gonna put these on. It's gonna solve our problem, and eventually, when we start really doing suspension, because that is something I wanna do eventually, we're going to come back around and we're going to take care of this problem. In order to change out these links, man, I'm going to need to get the car up off the ground in the front, get the wheels off, just because it'll be way too complicated to try and do this. In the meantime, I went to a meet this weekend that was pretty cool. It was at one of the Leonard's Malasada's trucks, and good turnout, man, lots of cool stuff. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna roll a little bit of footage of that meet, some of the cars and some of the other things that were going on there, and I'm gonna get this car up off the ground, and then yeah, we'll meet back and start working on these end links. Car's up in the air, wheels are off, everything's ready to go. I haven't started pulling anything apart yet just because I wanted to show you where we're working at. So here is the end link that I want to take off. Attaches to the sway bar and then attaches to this upper arm right here. So I just need to de-link that piece and then extend our new end links to push this piece downward, effectively push the front upward. Let me pull these couplers off and then we'll compare these with the new pieces and talk about the way forward. Here we have the stock end link right now that I've pulled out of the car. It has a fixed orientation. When it's in this position here, it's in the upper arm here, so it requires that kind of degree change, but yeah, that's it. Here we have the AMS unit, and again, this is going to work for what we need, but let me kind of explain my overall disappointment. What I need to do is I need to basically make this longer, and right now it's already shorter, and that's fine. I know I can get it to the length I need and then make it longer, but it's already significantly shorter, so I hope I can even make it long enough, and if I can't, that just really freaking sucks. But the biggest problem is once I have this on the car, let's just say it's mounted to the car in this way right here. This nut here is designed to be turned to create adjustment. So once it's on the car, I should be able to turn this and the whole thing will get longer or it will get shorter. But look what's going on here. As I turn it, do you see what's happening? The overall length is not changing whatsoever. It's getting longer here, but it's getting shorter here, which means that this eyelet piece and this eyelet piece have the exact same thread orientation, and that's what's freaking wrong, right? This eyelet should have, say, a clockwise orientation on the threading, and this should have a counterclockwise orientation on the threading, so that when I turn this, these both work themselves out or they work themselves back in. And that's the freaking disappointment. Had I paid a couple $100s for these and this was going on, I'd be pretty freaking pissed. Again, this is a fix to my problem, just to get my car safely to where I need to go. And once I get there, and once I really start focusing on tuning my suspension, which is a piece of the car that has not yet received a lot of love, then I'm definitely going to replace these, because now I have to have it completely adjusted before I ever put it on the car, because any adjustments I make, it doesn't matter. The distance will never change. It'll just move this nut up or down. Pretty stupid. Pretty stupid design. So if you're thinking about buying these, don't buy these ones, because in the end, it's not really doing anything for you. There's no on-car adjustability. So I'm gonna get these mocked up and start doing the thing. Alright, I've got these dudes extended about as comfortable as I am extending them. And I've oriented the studs on this guy just because it's twisted, so you can kind of get an idea, but it's just a little bit longer. Maybe a quarter, maybe a half an inch, maybe. But in order to get a little bit more distance, I'm also going to be using the front hole on the sway bar. So in order to get from here to there, I would have to be longer than here. So basically, with the same amount of distance, I can get more by using the front hole. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fit these in with all this hardware, get them kind of adjusted, see how the sway bar is different than it was before, and go ahead and start torquing everything down, and I think we'll be right on track to finishing up. New pieces are installed on both sides. Everything is tight, everything is nice and centered, things are moving the way they're supposed to, lock nuts have been put in place, and again, I've set this about as long as I'm comfortable setting it. Moved it up to the front hole to try and get a little bit more geometry on it and take advantage of the length not getting as long as I'd like it to. Now I think it's just time to put the car back on the ground and see if we benefited. I feel like we have already. I feel like the front definitely is a little bit higher, not stupid high like I'd like it, but definitely higher. So let me get these wheels on, get it back on the ground, and we'll evaluate. Long story short, I mean, we get what we get, and even if it's not significantly raised higher, it should still be higher because we are using more length, and that's just what we get. And maybe half an inch to an inch is all we needed to get all over those little bumps, so fingers crossies. Well, the car's back on the ground, and I really do think this is a little higher. It's not as high as I'd like it. I can still see all the way through a space in between the pan and the thing. I would like to have this about an inch higher, but those end links are gonna have to be way longer for that to accomplish, and there's just no way for those to go any longer in a safe way. And even in an unsafe way, it still wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be the length I need. I think my springs might have about another maybe half inch of settling. That should bring that up a little bit more as well. But guys, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I know there's a difference. So the bar was a lot closer to the rear shock mount plastic cover thingy, so I know it's definitely longer. So it has come down. Now, only time will tell if it makes a difference. You know, something like this, I understand you get what you pay for. I understand all those things. You don't need to tell me about it in the comments. This really was kind of an experimental type of fix. I'm not certain that any product out there on the market is gonna fix my problem. In the long run, it may just be that I need to try and find another sway bar solution. I really don't know. For 35 bucks to raise the bar just a little bit and not be disappointed at the purchase, I'm totally cool with that. Like, I'm totally cool with that. 93 is what I paid to have front and rear links and the shipping to Hawaii, which from Canada. So it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. So just a little project together, nothing too major, something that needed to be done, something I needed to get done before this car gets on a ship, I think 2 weeks away. There's some things going on between now and then that I hope to kind of attend. For the next couple weeks, I'm still going to be putting out videos, even though we won't be doing any work on the car. In the dyno video, I talked about maybe doing another drive-by, driving around video, so I want to see if I can get that done. And I'm thinking about doing a Q&A type video. I welcome your guys' questions. You guys are welcome to leave them in the comments of this video. Go on Instagram and message me on Instagram. But I'm going to also go and I'm going to dig back through a lot of Instagram posts and a lot of videos and find those common questions that I seem to answer quite a bit. I think I do a pretty good job of answering every question you guys send me on YouTube and on Instagram, but I'm not sure a lot of people go back and see the response to those answers. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that's something that we can just kind of take care of, and yeah, it'll just be kind of a good midpoint video. After that, it's gonna be the trip of the car getting shipped, dropping it off at the port, picking it up in Los Angeles, and then the drive to where I'm going. I got a couple stops I wanna make in California and along the way, so that should be pretty cool. Also gonna be hanging out with my brother. He lives in the Los Angeles area, so that should be awesome. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned. There is definitely going to be more TueZday Garage after this move happens, and once I'm in my new place, in my new garage, and I set up shop. In the meantime, amici, take care, ciao a tutti, aloha, bye-bye. Hey, just a little piece I'm throwing on here at the end because I didn't expect these to be here in time, but for whatever reason here in Honolulu, my mail gets delivered on Sundays, which is pretty cool. This wasn't supposed to be here till next week, but it came today, man, so I'm super stoked. And that is LEDs on the full exterior of the car. Now, I've already gone and I've only installed one side of the car in LEDs and the other side is light bulbs, so we can kind of see the difference. But I just wanted to show you this because I think it's pretty cool, and oh my gosh, what a difference, man. So just looking at the front, you can already see which side is LED versus regular incandescent bulbs. So much brighter, and it's especially good because of these smoked clear front corners. Very, very nice. Let's check out the rear, and let's see here. In person, the left is definitely brighter, that's for sure. The color's a lot more full. Like, the entire lens is filled up a little bit better. I know for on camera it doesn't really see, but you can see the license plate though. This side here is the LED, this side is the regular bulb. Big difference, man. LED and the bulb. Okay, now let's put the flashers on. Now another thing is I changed out the flasher relay. It's a special relay that doesn't require a 12-volt signal to actually click over and switch. Sometimes you guys know when you switch to the J-Spec fronts or the J-Spec tails, all of a sudden you start getting flashed flashers when your lights are on. Now that is all gone. Now it's regular speed flashers. When I do the right side, which is all regular bulb, it's regular speed flashing. If I go to left side, regular speed flashing. And look at that, dude. Holy crap. Oh yeah. Nice. Oh yeah. One side note, the amber LEDs actually do not fit into the JDM side markers. They are just a little too long. You could see the LED tower right there. What I had to do is actually take a filed off the connections on both sides of the outmost LED diode, I guess it is, and just remove that off of the tower. So now it's just 4 around and not the 5th one. Taking that outer diode off is actually what allows it to fit and click into the right position. Still got to do the headlights someday, but not right now. I just wanted to get the lights upgraded and everything because of the traveling I'm going to be doing, and we're drawing way less current on the electrical system of the car, which is great because we're using a smaller battery and got a system and more power to the engine, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I went through superbrightleds.com. It's really cool. You put in your vehicle information, your year, make, model, and then it just, bam, it pops up the menu of all the different bulbs that are available to you. Don't buy blindly. When you buy a bulb, make sure you double check. Take the bulb out of your car and double check what it looks like on the website. We learned that with the MR2. We were doing LEDs on the MR2 and we learned that we had some differences. Sunroof versus not sunroof, etc., etc. But if it was an amber light, I used an amber bulb. If it was a red light, I used a red bulb. So that red bulb behind a red lens just really sets everything off perfectly. So anyway, wanted to share. Freaking sweet upgrade. Talk to you later.